Are you struggling to communicate with your super fantastic teen? Well, hey, I am Shawna Partlow and I'm a teen relationship coach, and I'm here to help you connect with your teen so that you can talk about all issues. And the issue today is going to be communication, all right? And you know, it's kind of hard for a lot of people to communicate, but sometimes, goodness sakes, it's hard to talk and communicate with that teenager in your life, where it's like pulling teeth from a newborn baby, isn't it? Just to get them to respond to anything. So I'm going to give you 3 ParenTeen Tactics, all right, to just help you along a little bit with this communication area, all right? So this is for you, Mom, Dad. This is not for your teenager. This is for you. So first, how about this? Zippy the lippy, okay? That's you, zippy the lippy of yourself, all right? Because you cannot talk and listen at the same time. Even though sometimes we feel like we can, and because sometimes we feel like the more we talk, the more we have to say something, then you better listen to me. And they don't all the time. But when you zippy the lippy and you're silent, and not in a rude attitude yourself, okay? That's not being silent in a productive communication way. Because your body language definitely says a lot, doesn't it? A second one for you to do is you don't have to be right, okay? And I know sometimes we think, well, my teenager does, and they don't shut up, and they always have to have the last word, and it doesn't matter what I say, but you know what? Hey, is that you also? Are you the one that has to be right all the time also? Are you leading by example? Because sometimes when you just zippy the lippy and truly shut up yourself, you know what? Sometimes you kind of end the conversation of an argument, because let me even rephrase that, because a conversation and an argument is not the same thing. You can have a disagreement and be in a conversation. You don't have to be agreeing, but when there's arguing, then no, that is definitely not a conversation, okay? So when you're thinking that you have to be right, what you say is correct, and end of story, and that's just the way it is, because you have to put the pride aside and humble yourself so your teen actually knows that you aren't trying to just be the winner all the time, okay? Because even though we know that our teen can be that way, but sometimes where are they learning that from? And I'm definitely not saying it's always from the parent, because that's not always the case. Sometimes it's just because they have a crappy attitude and they just want to be right, okay? Because they're so full of pride. And what is the prize of just being right all of the time? And what's the cost of being the right winner? Because sometimes that cost is pretty high, isn't it? Because if you cannot humble yourself and you're up here all of the time in your pride, just constantly, you know, that definitely causes a communication huge separation, all right? That if you're trying to communicate better, then, man, it's hard to sometimes humble yourself to say, wow, okay, you know what, I'm going to be quiet and I don't have to be right, okay? Because you don't have to be right. And sometimes you just have to let your teen be right, even if they're not right. Okay? Hope that makes sense to you. All right, so then this last one. First of all, I want to say this. If you're getting any value out of this, then just hit right now the like button and you can subscribe. So this last one, this next one that I do want to say to you, okay, is check your own attitude. And I know sometimes you're like, why do you got to say that all the time? Because, hey, it's not me. It is not me. It is my teenager. And if they weren't acting like that, then I wouldn't have to act like this, because they are pushing the buttons and they're making me be this person. Which, you know what? It might be true, but at the same time, take that deep breath. You know what? Check your own attitude still. Hey, I had to do the same thing. I remember this one time, oh my golly, of course, my daughter, she was on my nerves, and it was so crazy weird, because I got this like, where I had to check myself, and I realized that, okay, you know what? Part of the way she's acting was because of the way I was acting. that I was setting the tone for her in the midst of my anger, in the midst of my having to be right, actually. I really just put a huge communication gap between us because I was not willing to humble myself to, you know what, shut my mouth and let her say something, and I didn't have to be right in that conversation. So when I stopped doing that, wow, what a huge difference it made, because she actually could express herself a little bit better because I wasn't just constantly just, trying to be right. So that does make a difference. And then I had to, like I said, do that attitude check. And again, that made a difference because I then became on purpose. I more so was reflecting on, okay, all right, okay, how am I going to come into this conversation? How am I going to be? What am I going to do here? How am I going to set the tone? Because I set the tone a lot. So then when I started changing that actually helped with me communicating with my daughter 1,000 times better. So just a quick little rundown is, one is zippy the lippy, okay? You don't have to be right, and check your attitude. You can put in the chat which one of those maybe hit home to you and you think, oh wow, this is one I really need to work on. Or maybe you're thinking all three of them, or maybe you're thinking, you know what, I really don't need to work on any of those things and I think I got it pretty good. So let me know, all right, in the chat to see what it is that you feel would help the communication with your teen. This is just quick 3 little things, okay, that I think, maybe you can implement one of those. So you can let me know that too. If you are implementing any of these little parent-teen tactics to help the communication with you and your teen, all right? So really that's all I want to say about that today. And thanks for watching. Remember, your teen needs you, all right? And I will definitely see you in the next video.